What's up, everybody? In this video, I'm going to be getting into the good stuff. We're going to start to talk about testing with your first Facebook ads. Now look, I know everybody has been probably super antsy to get to this part of the course. If you skipped over any of the previous sections of this course, I would highly advise you to at least go back and watch the Getting Your Mindset Right portions of the course, and then also the section I did about design and the anatomy of a winning product. If you don't get those two things right, then almost nothing else I teach you in this course will be relevant. You'll either fizzle out because you don't have the right mindset and you don't really understand what this is going to take to be successful, or you don't have an idea what a winning product is. And I'm telling you right there, if you don't know what a winning product is and you don't know the basic elements of going to a winning product, you're not going to have success with this style of print on demand. Okay, assuming you've watched all those and you've gone through the entire course and you've been a wonderful, diligent student, let's continue. All right, so in this section, we're going to be talking about testing methods, okay? We're going to be talking about all the different testing methods I like to use. These are still proven. I still get results from these every single day, and I'm going to show you how to do them. Keep in mind, I am a firm believer that 80 or 90% of your success in this print-on-demand game comes from your product and your phrase, right? Not your methods that you use. Scaling is different. Scaling, you need some Facebook Kung Fu to hit big numbers, but when you're testing, you don't need that Facebook Kung Fu to get your first sales. It's really all about product. So I'm going to do my best to keep this really simple, especially as we get into the pixel and targeting and some of these other things. We'll take it step by step, and at the end of this, you'll have a pretty firm grasp of how Facebook works, the algorithm works, what's going on inside Ads Manager, and the rest of it. Okay, really look forward to seeing you in the next video, and I'll see you in the next video. All right, everybody, in this video, we're going to be talking about the columns inside of Ads Manager and how you can set these up so that you can analyze your data accurately once it starts to come back. So there's a certain way I like to set up my columns inside Ads Manager, and I set them up really based on my funnel. So I like to have all of my data points that have to do with my ad and the engagement around my ad and things like that first. And then I get into view contents, add to carts, purchases, and all that stuff a little bit later. All right, so let's quickly run through all the columns that I look at, and then I'm going to show you how you can add these columns to your own Ads Manager yourself. So the first one is I have the campaign name way over here on the left. I have that kind of squished down. I don't want anybody to see that. Then I have, for obvious reasons, then I have delivery. This is one I just like to be able to sort on from time to time, especially if you get lost inside Ads Manager. It's helpful to just hit this and boom, it'll just show you which campaigns are delivering up at the top. Then I have my CPMs. I like to keep track of what I'm paying for my CPMs. I have impressions per campaign. Then I have my reach. So note that impressions and reach are different. Impressions are essentially the number of time your ad has been served in total. Reach is the number of individuals that have seen your ad. Two different data points. Then I have frequency, because that tells me like how often people are seeing my ad. The frequency at which they're seeing my ad. You can see that some of these 1.25. That means everybody's seeing my ad 1.25 times in this campaign. Then I have my unique click-through rate. Then I have my link click-through rate. So that's if they click the link in my primary text on my ad. I've got the unique link clicks. This is just the numbers now. Then I have unique content views. Again, it's just the volume. I have unique add to carts, unique initiate checkouts, and unique purchases. Now, the reason I sort this first part this way is because it's logical and it follows the linear progression of my funnel. So if my funnel's not performing the way I want and I need to troubleshoot that, I can literally start from the left and work my way to the right throughout Ads Manager to kind of see where my funnel might be breaking down. If I'm seeing lots of view contents and no add to carts, I know maybe there's something on my product page. It's maybe the price is too high, or it's not converting well, or the add to cart button isn't working, or something like that. If I see lots of add to carts and very few initiate checkouts, I know that maybe my add to cart page is bugging out for people. Maybe there's something on there that's scaring people. And then maybe I need to reiterate my guarantee or my warranty, or that it's free shipping or something like that to keep people flowing through the funnel. I have a lot of initiate checkouts but no purchases. It could be because my cost of shipping is too high. So like you can literally just read through your data here and start to logically puzzle through where your funnel might be falling apart. So after purchases, I have my budget for each of the campaigns. I have the amount spent on each of the campaigns. I have the cost per view content that I'm paying on average in the campaign. My cost per unique add to cart, cost per unique checkout, cost per purchase. That's a very important number to know. Your purchase conversion value for the campaign, and then your ROAS for each of the campaigns. I keep ROAS all the way on the end. Purchase conversion value and ROAS are very important. I would say that's even more important than cost per purchase, because if somebody buys your cost per purchase, your break-even point on a product may be $40. So that means, and you may have a cost per purchase that's $40, meaning just looking at those two numbers, you think you're breaking even. However, if people are buying more than one product, your purchase conversion value is going to be higher, and your ROAS is going to be higher. So you may still be profitable. So purchase conversion ROAS, or your purchase ROAS and your purchase conversion value are two very important metrics, even more so than your cost per purchase. Okay, so that's why I set it up this way. Let's talk about how to set it up this way. So all you need to do is come over here to columns, click down, and then you need to click customize columns. And then once you're in here, you actually have the ability to build and sort your own list. So I'm going to actually provide this entire list that I use below under this video. However, to add a metric here, all you got to do is in the search type like the metric you want. So I can choose purchase. Then I can just checkbox the one that I want, and it will add it to my list. So if I uncheck purchases, that actually removed it from my list because it was already there. Now if I click it again, it should add it to the end of my list. And boom, I've got purchases down at the end of my list. And you'll notice that this event actually comes with a few additional options: mobile purchase, website purchase, offline, on Facebook purchases, and things like that. So you're going to want to uncheck the ones that you're not interested in. That is how you add your columns to your ads manager here. And then all you have to do is grab them and drag them around to sort them however you want. So again, I'm going to provide the entire list of columns that I use below this video. So stop here before you go to the next video and make sure you build your ads manager out the way that I teach here. Okay, I hope you found this video helpful. I'll see you in the next one. What's up, everybody? In this video, I want to talk a little bit about the Facebook pixel. It doesn't really help to get into targeting and interests and some of the more advanced Facebook stuff if we don't spend a little bit of time on the fundamentals. So, how does the Facebook pixel work? What is the Facebook pixel? Why is it important to you? I'm going to try to answer all of those questions in this very quick video. Now, I like to use an analogy when I explain the Facebook pixel to some people. I find that an analogy really helps people kind of grasp what the Facebook pixel is and helps them understand it. The analogy I like to use is that of a little, cold, crying, helpless baby. So you can see our baby over here on the left. He's crying, he's helpless. He's at the mercy of the entire world. And if you want your baby to grow up, right, and this baby is your Facebook pixel, you have to feed this baby good nutrition. You have to stimulate this baby with the right kinds of education to get his little brain to develop. And you also need to show this baby some love, right, so it can develop emotionally and all that kind of stuff. So to translate all of that into Facebook language, we need to make sure we feed our pixel the right kinds of food, right? And the right kinds of food for the Facebook pixel are view contents, add to carts, and purchases from your ideal customer, okay? The more data your Facebook pixel collects from your ideal customer in the form of clicks, view contents, add to carts, purchases, I would even say engagement on your ads, things like that. The more of the right kind of customer is engaging with your pixel, the more your pixel will consume that data and that information, and it'll start to learn who your ideal buyers are. And your pixel will kind of grow up and become stronger and stronger. So if you want your baby to grow, right, if you want your pixel to grow, you have to give it the right kinds of data. You have to feed it the right kinds of food, okay? So kind of a funny analogy. I did that on purpose because I want this to stick. But that's kind of how the Facebook pixel works. Now look, if you don't feed it any data, your Facebook pixel is going to die. It's going to starve to death. It's going to get really cold. It's going to die, right? But if you're feeding your pixel the right kinds of information, your Facebook pixel will grow up and become this really strong, hyper-targeted weapon that you'll have on your side to help you do targeting. A good, mature Facebook pixel is like a heat-seeking missile, This is what I tell people. It can literally find your buyers in almost any audience. You'll hear stories of people that have developed pixels, and they will literally run their ads wide open they won't do any targeting on their ads at all, right? They'll do 18 plus United States, and they just run their ads like that. And their pixel is still able to find buyers for their products, right? That is what a good, powerful pixel can do for you once it's matured and it's had a lot of data. Okay, so the pixel, you want to always kind of keep that in mind. That's how the pixel works. And you want to develop your pixel over time, mature it by making sure you're giving it the right kinds of data. Some of this happens naturally, right? Just through running your ads. And also, you can't really, there's some shortcuts here, but it's difficult to force your pixel to grow, right? Just like it's difficult to force a baby to grow. It takes time. You have to run some successful campaigns and things like that. But once your pixel is on, it is on. And it becomes one of your more valuable assets in this Facebook game. So the end goal of having an ad account and choosing your niche and all that kind of stuff is to develop a pixel that's like hyper targeted, hyper focused on your particular niche. Because that will make all your future campaigns even more successful. All right, hope you found this video helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey everybody, I wanted to make one more quick video on the topic of training your pixel. So we've already talked about how a pixel that's optimized, that has a lot of data, can laser target buyers. But when you're just starting out, your pixel's new, it's not that good yet, okay? So I quickly want to recap kind of the theory around the pixel, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about how you can train your pixel and help get it optimized and mature. So first of all, pixels, they're like cold, hungry, helpless little babies. And for them to grow, you have to feed them data. And the more data your Facebook pixel eats, the stronger it becomes. And then eventually, over time, after it's given enough data, it'll grow into a strong, intelligent, determined man or woman that can laser target buyers. Okay? And your pixel's favorite food of all time is purchases. That's how you think about your pixel. Now, when your pixel's brand new, and you're trying to get it from being this immature, cold, hungry, helpless little baby to the power lifter in the other analogy, how do you get it there? So the way I like to explain this to people is it takes time, first of all. There's not a lot of shortcuts here. But you need to think about putting training wheels on your pixel, right? Remember training wheels on a bike, how they keep you from falling over? Or another analogy I really like to use is that of bumper lanes at a bowling alley. So I don't know if any of you have bowled before, but when you go bowling, especially when you're young, you got this big heavy ball, you're trying to throw it down the lane at these pins, and when you're little, that the pins down at the end of the lane, they feel like they're forever away, and you've got to take this big heavy ball and kind of roll it down there, and it's very hard to get the coordination right, and your ball, more often than not, will go into the gutter, and it'll miss all of the pins. But at certain bowling alleys, you can get bumper lanes, and they're like these big inflatable tubes that run down the gutters, right? So then when your ball goes heading for a gutter, it hits the bumper lane and it will literally bounce off and go back into the lane. It'll just bounce from gutter to gutter all the way down, and it increases your chance of hitting some pins, okay? So now if we tie that into Facebook, let's pretend those pins are buyers, okay? And that little bowling ball is your pixel. If you were to run that bowling ball straight down the lane with no bumper lanes, that's akin to running like a broad ad set, right? Meaning broad targeting in your ad set, where you don't specify a lot of targeting options in the ad set. You just expect the pixel to go find your buyers. That's very similar to running the bowling ball down the lane with no bumper lanes, okay? However, if we add some interest and then we even narrow those kind of top layer interests with some additional interests, right, to really hyper target the ad sets, that's akin to adding bumper lanes to the bowling alley, right? You're really helping your pixel and guiding your pixel towards your ideal buyer. So I'm going to illustrate this a little bit further because I really want to make sure this sets in. But let's go over what I've kind of got on the slide here. So what I like to do is I like to have one big broad interest as kind of my top layer interest, and then I like to have one narrow interest underneath. So I take my top layer interest and then I narrow by, and I get into a smaller segment of that top layer interest, and we'll get into this and how you do it here in a minute. So for example, if I'm wanting to target parents, right, I might have parents all as my top layer interest, And then when I narrow by, I might choose something else. So if I'm trying to target mothers who have daughters, what I might end up doing is targeting female, 35 plus, parents all, right? And then if I want a parent that's got a daughter, I might look for interests the parent might be in if they have a daughter, like Girl Scouts, volleyball, softball, dance, ballet, those kinds of things. Another way you can think about it is you can do all kinds of things here. There are no rules, really. Another thing you can do is you can start to target people based on where they might shop, what kind of music they listen to, and things like that. And all of this just really helps you kind of cut that larger audience up into smaller bite-sized segments to help feed your pixel more data. So I want to illustrate this a little bit further. So I'm going to jump over here to my drawing board. And the way I think you should think about this is you have one big interest. Like let's say this is parents all, okay? So parents all. And this is huge. It's like 20 million people. It's gigantic. But the thing is if your pixel's brand new and you tell it to go looking in here for buyers, it's not going to be able to find any. Well, it may find a few, but it's not going to be able to kind of hyper target your buyers because this audience is so huge. So what you need to do is start cutting this up. And when you're brand new, it may be difficult to know how to do that. If you do it like I did before, like let's say you have a daughter gift and you want to target moms who might potentially have daughters, what you might do is target something like Girl Scouts. And Girl Scouts may be this much of the audience, right? Maybe it's 2 million people, hypothetically, right? And then something else you might target is like volleyball. And volleyball might be, I don't know, 5 million people in this audience, right? And so what you do is you're breaking up your campaign now, your initial campaign, right? You have a campaign here. Let me grab this. And you've got a bunch of ad sets off this campaign. Well, each ad set is going to have parents all in it. But then what you're also going to do is narrow by one additional interest. So this one might be Girl Scouts. This one might be volleyball. This one might be dance, for example. And so all of that's off of this one campaign. And after it runs for a while, you're going to be able to analyze this campaign, that's a magnifying glass, and see which one of these gave you the most purchases, right? And if you decide, if after looking at the data, you see that it's volleyball, right? You can run more campaigns with parents all plus volleyball, right? And all this will do is help feed your pixel more data, because if you know there are buyers here and you run more campaigns to this audience, then theoretically you should get more purchases from this audience. And all that's going to help mature and grow your pixel. So again, I want to recap real quick, high level. I'm trying to be as clear as possible here. So the strategy I like to use with new pixels is I have kind of a top layer interest. So this is almost like a primary interest, right? Primary. And then what I do is I narrow by inside of the ad set level. And we'll go over this a little bit later. I'm going to do some over-the-shoulder targeting. I'll show you how to do this. But then I narrow by a secondary interest. Okay? That's how I train my pixel. Now, one more note on this is that there's a lot of ways to cut up a primary interest. Okay? In the example I used, I said we're targeting moms who have daughters. Okay? You don't have to just think about it that way, though. There's a bunch of other ways you can do it. So if you have a huge interest like this, and we can say it's parents all still, and it's 20 million people, all you're trying to do is segment this in a logical manner so that you can find buyers. That's really all you're trying to do. It doesn't necessarily have to be Girl Scouts and volleyball and dance because you're trying to find moms. It could be something different. Now keep in mind, in the marketplace, you have all kinds of segments, okay? One of the things I noticed in some of my campaigns is that people in more rural areas were purchasing. So like Oklahoma, Arkansas, Texas, those kinds of places. So I started to think, well, maybe I should target things like pickup trucks, country music, like Mexican fast food restaurants and things like that. And I even started to look up chains that were in the South that weren't in other places, right? And I was able to cut up a really large audience like this with things you would never think of, like country music and pickup trucks. But that's not the only thing you can do. Another way I've done this before is I've cut up audiences based on where people shop. So I know you have like high-end stores, like your Gucci's and Anthropologies and stuff like that. And then you have like department stores, like your, Kohl's, JCPenney's, Nordstrom's. And then you have your, I don't even know what you want to call these, the more like budget stores, I suppose, where it's like Target, Walmart. You can even get into like budget grocery stores like Aldi's, Dollar General, and those kinds of things. And again, these are all just logical ways to cut up this audience, right? Like, these people here are going to be different than these people. And so when you add in the secondary interest and you start dissecting this larger one, you can start to kind of find your pockets of buyers. But all of this takes testing and patience and time, because you have to learn this and you have to figure out who your buyers are and all of that. So I hope this kind of helps explain how I approach targeting, especially with new pixels, when I'm trying to train it and get it optimized and get that thing mature so it can start to hyper target buyers for me automatically. All right, hope you found this video helpful. I'll see you in the next one. Hey, what's up everybody? In this video, I want to go over a few quick notes about testing before we jump into the testing methods. First, I want to remind you, the success of your campaigns has more to do with your product than it does your Facebook ad kung fu. This is especially true during testing. During scaling, the scales tip a little bit and it becomes more important to have good Facebook skills. However, when you're testing, it's really all about the product. So the majority of your success when testing comes from your product, and the minority of it comes from your Facebook ad skill level. So to put it another way, the better your product quality, the less skill is required to succeed when testing. So you can see that these two lines have an inverse correlation, right? As product quality goes up, skill level for Facebook ads goes down. I find this to be true across the board. You will find that winning products basically sell themselves. So if you're doing testing and you're not getting any sales, I don't want you to come back and pick a bunch of new methods. I just want you to try a new product. So if you are making sales, it likely has nothing to do with the testing method. This is going to be true. It probably has everything to do with the product. It's going to be very difficult, especially if you're new and you've never had a winner before. You're going to blame the testing method over your product. Trust me, I know. I talk to tons and tons of students all the time. This is a trap that new people fall into. You're going to spend a lot of time trying to get your testing methods right when it's more often than not an issue with the product. What I want you to do, pick one or two testing methods, just one or two testing methods, and stick to them, okay? Stick to your testing methods. So if you're running a bunch of products and they're failing, I want you to keep swapping out the products. Just keep swapping out the products, stick to the testing methods, keep swapping out the products. I don't want you to go back and start hunting for new methods, faulting the method. I promise you that is not it, especially during testing. And keep in mind, the goal of testing is about giving yourself opportunities to find winners, and that is it. This is about giving yourself as many at-bats as you can in the beginning. So it's all about giving yourself as many opportunities as you can to find a winner, and that's it. All right, here's some guidelines for testing. I want you to test all of your ads on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I've looked back historically over several years of sales. This is when I tend to get most of my sales. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. This is when I run all of my test campaigns. And I start them at 5 a.m. on Tuesday. 5 a.m. Central Time on Tuesday is when I start my ads. There are three primary waves of purchasing waves, I suppose you could say, each day. There's a big one in the morning, a little bit smaller one around lunchtime, and a little bit smaller one around dinner time. But I've seen this consistently for several years in a row. So I always start my ads at 5 a.m. because I want them ready to rock and roll for that first initial wave of purchases. And then I'll typically turn my ad set budget optimization campaigns, I'll get to this in a minute, I typically turn those off at night so I don't waste any ad spend between like 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. for example. I'll get to that in just a minute. All right, so next bullet. Turn off ad set budget optimization campaigns at night, duplicate the campaign, and set new start time for the next day. All right, so for all the testing methods you're about to see, if I specify using ad set budget optimization, I want you to turn the ads off at night and duplicate that campaign and then set a new start time for the next morning. This is just for ad set budget optimization campaigns and only if I don't say otherwise in the actual method itself. So the way you're going to do this is create the ABO campaign with a start time of Tuesday at 5 a.m. Let it run until basically you go to sleep at night. Turn it off. Duplicate the campaign. Set a new start time for the next morning at 5 a.m. And then do the same thing the next day. Do that Tuesday. Do it again Wednesday. And then Thursday, you're not going to duplicate it to Friday unless it was successful. But that is how you do it for ad set budget optimization. For campaign budget optimization, I don't do that. I just let it run. Okay, I'm not turning it off at night or anything like that for campaign budget optimization. For ad set budget optimization, though, I am. I start at 5 a.m., let it run till night, turn it off, duplicate the campaign, set a new start time for 5 a.m. the next morning, let it run till night, turn it off, duplicate the campaign, set a new start time for 5 a.m. Thursday morning, let it run till that night, turn it off, and move to the analysis phase. I hope that makes sense. Okay, now, for each of our tests, we're going to spend 2 times our break-even cost per purchase before moving to the analysis phase. So we're going to spend 2 times our break-even cost per purchase. So the question is going to be, how do you know what your break-even cost per purchase is? Well, there's a simple formula. Your break-even cost per purchase, it's the retail price minus your cost of goods, and that is going to equal your break-even cost of purchase. So here's a quick example. If your retail price is $50 and your cost of goods is $10, you take $50 minus $10, you get $40. This is your break-even cost per purchase. This is how much you can spend on Facebook ads before you start losing money. You can spend up to $40, hypothetically. Now you take $40 times 2. That gives you $80. This is how much I spend per test. I spend about $80. So all of these methods here, I let them run till I have somewhere around $80 spend. Now, I get questions about this all the time. Is it like exactly $80 right down to the penny? Well, I try to get as close to that as I can. Some of them go to $90, some of them go to $75, that kind of thing. But I try to always go to about $80 for all of my tests. Now you're going to see that sometimes, depending on the testing method, it can be kind of tough to balance in that budget and all that kind of stuff. Again, it doesn't have to be right down to the penny, guys. These are guidelines, okay? And this is typically how much I spend per test. All right, and then finally, especially when you're testing, the only metric that I care about are purchases. When you're testing, I like to make this really simple on ourselves. I don't like to overcomplicate things. If you've watched any of my training so far, you know I keep things very simple, especially for students and new people. You can literally just get lost. You'll drown in the tidal wave of methods and information, all that kind of stuff. I really try to simplify things and boil it down. The only metric I care about when I'm testing are purchases, okay? That's the only metric I care about when I'm testing. And we'll get more into what to do with the data that comes back in Ads Manager in the analysis phase. However, for testing, this is kind of all you need to know. So here are your guidelines. Rewatch this video if you need to. Take notes if you need to. It's going to be very important as we move into the actual methods. You're going to want to use these guidelines for each method. I'm not going to reiterate them every single method that I teach. So you're going to want to come back to this video, reuse these guidelines, apply them to each of the methods you're about to learn. Okay, hope you found this video helpful. I'll see you in the next one. Hey, what's up? In this video, I want to talk about what ad images and ad copy you should use when you're testing. So you're going to find as I go through the testing methods, I tell you to use your best ad image and your best ad copy during testing. Now, if you're brand new or you haven't spent a lot of money on Facebook yet, you probably don't know what those are. Well, I'm going to try to give you a little bit of a shortcut. I'm pulling this from all of my experience running my own ads. I have a pretty good idea of what works now inside of the marketplace. I kind of know what ad copy people are more likely to respond to. Now, this is just a starting point, and that's all I want you to consider it to be. Once you find a product that starts to scale, I want you to move beyond these ad images and this ad copy. I want you to start to experiment with some of your own. Play with some of the other images, play with some of the other ad copies, and see if any of those convert better for you. As it stands though, when you're just starting out and you don't have that data, you need a starting point. And that's what this is to serve as. So, your best images. The images that I find that work best on Facebook are images that are really kind of close up so that people can read the phrase and a little bit dramatic, right? I think it raises the overall perceived value and the emotional impact of the phrase. So you can see this image here on the left. I really like it because it's got this high quality kind of textured view of the message card itself. You can see that the shadows really come through on the actual product and it feels kind of dramatic. Plus you've got this kind of black background with the box on top of the black lid. It's just, the whole thing just kind of pops. It feels really solid. It feels very high value. And I really like that about this particular image here. Another image I like to use is this one. Again, it's because the phrase is very clearly legible. You can see some of the shadowing coming through on the necklace itself. And you also have the textured view of the paper. Now, typically though, with this image, if I decide to run with it, I'll actually crop this image down inside of Ads Manager so that we're only on the box and the message card. I like to get rid of all this white space out here because it just makes the phrase itself smaller and harder to read. Remember, the number one rule when it comes to any of this stuff is legibility. You need to make sure people are reading the phrase because it's the phrase that pays. It's the phrase that sells, okay? So when it comes to ad images, these are the two I like to stick with when I'm doing my testing. Now, when it comes to the ad copy, I go very, very simple on the ad copy, especially when I'm testing. I usually like to add some emojis in the ad copy. You don't have to add these exact emojis. You can add a different color heart. You can add a flower. You can add a sun. You can add all kinds of stuff. You can add the little emoji icons of the mom and the daughter together or whatever you want. But I like to have some emojis here on the top line. The other thing I like to do is I like to call out the person I'm selling to. So I'm trying to get the mom's attention here. So I'm calling out, I'm going, hey moms. And then what I'm saying is, would your daughter, so I'm calling out the recipient, love this, right? And I put love in big caps because we're trying to stay focused on the emotional experience here. So I say, hey moms, would your daughter love this, right? And I've got some emojis on the front and the back. And then I quickly put grab yours here and save $40. Grab yours here is a call to action. I'm trying to get them to do something. And then I say, and save $40 because that's the offer. I'm trying to say, hey, you're going to get a deal if you click here and grab this thing for your daughter. And then immediately I have the link. It's literally that simple. I don't make it any more complex than that, especially when I'm testing, because I don't really know what works. I want to draw on my past experience of what has worked. Once I get something that starts to scale, I'll do some split tests on images and ad copies. But for now, this is where I want you to start. So use images like this, use very simple ad copy like this for all the testing methods you're about to learn. All right, hope you found this video helpful. We'll see you in the next one. Hey everybody, what's up? In this video, we're gonna be doing an Ads Manager overview. I'm going to show you how to think about campaign structure, and I'm also going to go into Ads Manager and give you a tour so that when I start going over my testing methods, you know how to get in there and set everything up without a lot of questions. All right, let's get right to it. So first of all, Ads Manager. Ads Manager has campaigns, ad sets, and ads, right? That's how you run your ads inside of Ads Manager. You have campaigns, ad sets, and ads. Now, there's kind of a hierarchy here, and I tried to visually illustrate that a little bit on this page. So you have campaigns. This is at the top of the hierarchy. And at the campaign level, you're going to choose your objective for the campaign, whether you're trying to get engagement, drive likes, get conversions, that kind of thing. You're also going to choose your budget method. So you're going to choose whether or not you want to use campaign budget optimization or ad set budget optimization. If you choose campaign budget optimization, you're also going to have to set your budget at this level. If you choose ad set budget optimization, you set the budget at the ad set level. After you've created your campaign holds your ad sets. Now there's a one-to-many relationship going down this hierarchy. So you'll have one campaign and it can have multiple ad sets, and you'll have one ad set that can have multiple ads. So there's a one-to-many relationship as you move down the hierarchy. All right, next is the ad set level. This is really where you do all of your targeting. You're going to choose your conversion objective. If you've chosen conversions at the campaign level, you're going to be able to choose whether or not you want to target add to carts, view content, purchases, things like that. For all of our testing methods, all of them, we're going to choose purchases, okay? For every method I go over here, we're going to choose purchases, unless I specify otherwise. You're also going to do your targeting. So this is where you're going to choose the geographic regions you want to target. We're going to choose our demographics in terms of male, female, the age, all that kind of stuff. And then you're also going to have interests at this level too. So you're going to be able to choose primary and secondary interests all inside the ad set level. So there's some more things you can do, but I'm just trying to make this simple. This is where you're going to choose your conversion objective, and this is also where you get to choose your targeting. And then underneath your ad set level, you have your ads. This is your creative, okay? This is where you're going to choose what page your ad gets run from. So if you created a niche Facebook page, it was like, I love my daughter. This is where you choose that page, and then you run your ad from that page. So when people are scrolling through their news feed and they see a new ad pop up, it'll be from the I love my daughter page, and it'll have your ad. This is also where you're going to choose your ad image and your ad copy. You're going to insert your image here and insert your ad copy. Okay, I'm going to jump over to Ads Manager now, and we're going to visually walk you through all of this. Okay, so I'm in Ads Manager now. Now there's a lot on the screen. Hopefully you've set up your columns in the way I taught in a previous video. Your column should look darn near identical to what I have up on my screen right now. So I'm at the campaign level, and you can see there are 3 tabs right here in the middle of the screen. You have campaigns, ad sets, and ads. I'm in the campaigns level. So each of these campaigns have ad sets. All the ad sets have ads. Now, I'm going to kind of walk through creating a new ad and some of the steps that I go through. You're going to want to pay attention to this because you're going to need to repeat some of these steps for the ad methods that I'm about to teach. All right, so first I'm going to go to create. This gives me a new pop-up. I'm going to choose conversions, and then it's going to allow me to name my campaign. I like to use a certain naming convention for all my campaigns. I like to number them. I like to put the date that I created them. So I put 001 October 9th, 2020. And then I like to put the campaign name or the product name. So here I'm just going to put, love my daughter forever. You can give yours a unique name, that's fine. And then at the end, I like to put whether it's ad set budget optimization or campaign budget optimization. This one's going to be ad set budget optimization. Then I like to put the conversion objective. In this case, it's for a purchase campaign, so I'm going to put PUR. Then I copy the campaign name and I add that to the ad set and the ad. I like to make sure they all have the same name. Now I'm going to click continue. It's going to pop out the campaign from the right side of the screen. Let me blow this up a little bit for you. I'm at the campaign level. You can see we also have another visual hierarchy right here. You have the campaign at the top, then the ad set, then the ad. I'm going to use ad set budget optimization on this one. So where it says campaign budget optimization, I'm going to make sure that stays off. Now I'm going to click into the ad set layer. And so here is where you're going to choose your conversion event, okay? So it's defaulted mine to purchase. It will probably do that for yours, but if it doesn't, you're going to want to choose purchase. Even if you don't have any data on the pixel yet, go for purchase because it's going to get you a higher quality segment of the audiences inside of your ad sets. Then you also have the ability to you can set dynamic creatives here, which is a topic for a completely different video, but if you're ever looking for this, this is where that option is. All right, so here is where you're going to set your budget. For this particular ad set, I'm going to choose $5. And then you also have the ability to set a start date. I like to run all my ads on the following day. I don't like to start ads in the middle of the day. I tend to notice that people buy a lot in the morning, then again at lunch, and then again at dinner time, but your biggest surge kind of comes in the morning, so I like to make sure my ads are fresh and ready to rock and roll at that time. So I'll typically choose my start date the next day. Actually, I should probably correct that a little bit. I like to run my test campaigns Tuesday through Thursdays. So when I'm starting these, I choose the following Tuesday, and for my start time, I like to do 6 a.m. Eastern or 5 a.m. Central Time. just my thing. I've done quite a bit of testing and it's worked well for me. So that's how I like to start my ads. Okay, so my daily budget, $5, starting next Tuesday at 6 a.m. Okay, so now I've got my budget and my schedule all set up. I'm gonna scroll down a little bit. Now here's where you get to your targeting. You get to choose your audience. So the first thing you wanna do is select a location. I'm gonna click edit. It's United States. That's exactly what I want for my test campaign. Then I'm gonna choose age. So again, I'm running a daughter product. So I wanna make sure that the people I'm targeting this ad to are old enough to have a daughter. So I'm gonna choose like 35 on this one, but 40 is probably better. I'm gonna do 35 plus. And then for genders, this is a from mom gift. So I'm gonna make sure I choose women. For detailed targeting, I'm gonna choose parents all here. So now I have a 50-50 shot of whoever this ad lands on being a parent with a daughter. But I'm also going to narrow, I'm gonna add a secondary interest now. I'm gonna narrow it by dance. See how many people. 27 million people still in this audience. That's pretty huge. But it narrowed it from 74 million. So I'm fine with that. So I'm gonna add dance. Now, there's this little checkbox right here. Detailed targeting expansion. I never use this. I'm gonna turn this off, especially for testing. So I'm just gonna click here, turn that off, okay? And then for languages, I'm in the United States, so I don't need to be specific with the languages. And then for more options, it's gonna have connections and things like that. You can ignore all that. For placements, I like to use automatic for my placements. Some people here will choose manual and then they'll just go to their news feeds. I typically find that automatic will spend 97% of your budget or something like that on the news feeds anyways, and your CPMs tend to be a little bit lower. So I like to leave mine on automatic. Okay, that's it for the ad set layer. Then I move to the ad layer. And at the ad layer, you're gonna choose your Facebook page you're running your ads from right here, okay? I'm going to choose my daughter page. Okay, now I'm good. And then for the Instagram account, I just pick use selected page. I don't have a special Instagram page for my Facebook page. Then I go down to ad setup. It's got create ad. I use the single image or video ad. And then down here a little bit lower where it's got add creative, you can click add media, add image. I'm going to add the image we created earlier. Okay, I've got the image uploaded. I'm gonna click continue and boom, there we go. So it's added the image now to my ad. Now I just need my primary text. And again, I'm gonna use the same thing I showed you in a previous video. I'm gonna do a heart and I'm gonna put, hey moms, would your daughter love this? End with a heart. Then I'll go to the next line, grab yours here and save $40. And then I'll do my link. Okay, got my link. I'm gonna paste the link here so it's in the actual ad copy itself, but I'm also gonna paste it down here where it says website URL. And then for my headline, I'm gonna put get $40 off today only. Or you know what, I'm gonna try something a little different. I'm gonna put a heart and I'm gonna put makes the perfect gift. And then for my button, you scroll down a little bit. It's this call to action option right down here. It's a little hard to see. I'm going to choose shop now. And I've got my ad preview over here on the right. Let me make sure I like how this is looking. I'm gonna click view more variations. For the most part, I like how this is going. I don't really like how this heart wraps to the second line. It looks okay here, but I don't really like it in this Facebook feed here. So I might just drop the last heart. That's fine, I'm happy with that. And then for the description here, I typically like to put like ships from the USA or something about the guarantee, that kind of thing. For here, I'm just gonna put ships from the USA. All right, looking good. After this, I would publish this campaign. So I'm not gonna publish this because I'm not ready to, but I would hit publish here. So publish this, and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna have one campaign, one ad set, and one ad. It's all gonna be published, okay? It's gonna be white. It won't be green anymore like this one. It'll be white, and it'll say, probably in review. After that, if you need to duplicate anything, so if you need to duplicate the campaign, or if my testing method requires that you duplicate the ad set or the ad, what you'll do is after you've published the first one, you're going to come in here and you'll checkbox the ad set you want to duplicate, and you'll click this duplicate button right here, and it's going to ask you how many copies. And here you can put 4 or 9 or whatever the particular method calls for. Here's where you can duplicate, and this works at the ad set, the campaign, and the ad level. You can see that this button is here on all of them, right? So I'm at the ad level, here's the ad set level, here's the campaign level. You can just click that and boom, you're going to be able to duplicate your campaigns. Now, you're probably wondering, why do you publish it first, then duplicate? Why don't you just duplicate it all at once and then publish? It's a great question. And that is because, let me see if I can illustrate this here. When you publish first and then duplicate, you have a campaign, you have an ad set, you have an ad, okay? Like this. This ad gets created, okay? And then when you duplicate it, what you're doing is you're making copies of that ad, okay? Now the reason I like to do that is because then all your social proof for this first ad, it's not gonna let me move that. All your social proof for this first ad here will be shared across all of your ad sets, right? So, you know, when you create this one first, publish it, and then duplicate it, you just create, you know, you're gonna have a bunch of campaigns or ad sets depending on the method, right? They're all gonna look like this, but the important thing is all of the ads themselves, they're all from this first ad. So all the social proof gets shared between them. However, if you don't do it that way, if you instead, you know, create your campaign ad set ad, don't publish, and then duplicate, so you have another ad set, another ad set, another ad, all of these are unique, okay? So then the social proof does not get shared. It breaks down. So I like to create the campaign ad set ad, publish it. Then if I need to do any duplication, I then go in and I duplicate it while it's still in review. So I hope that makes sense. All right, I hope you enjoyed this tour of Ads Manager. I hope you found this helpful. We're gonna get into testing methods next. I'll see you there. Hey, what's up everybody? In this video, we're gonna be talking about the penny slots method. This is one of my favorite testing methods, and I use this one literally all the time. I launched this one last week, and I did get sales from the campaign. Every method I teach you throughout this course is capable of finding winners. So don't worry, every single one of these I have tested myself, I've used on my own, and I have used to find winners. All right, let's jump right into it. First of all, you're gonna create one ad set budget optimization campaign. Ad set budget optimization campaign. Then you're going to create your first ad set. This is the process you need to use to set this up. So one ad set budget optimization campaign, create your first ad set. You're going to set the budget at $5 a day. You're going to choose whatever your interest is going to be for this particular product. Now, I'm not going to know what that is. I'm not going to be able to suggest that to you over this video. However, based on your product, you should be able to determine that. Use your primary and secondary interests, piece those together if you need to, or go broad. But it's a $5 a day ad set. Then you're going to use your best ad image and the best ad copy. Watch my other video where I talk about this if you don't know what that is. Use the best ad image and the best ad copy for this particular ad. Now what I want you to do is publish your first ad set and ad. After you get those set up, I want you to publish this, okay? After that's published, then I want you to go back to your ad set layer, so that's this layer here, and I want you to take this first ad set and I want you to duplicate it 4 times. Duplicate that ad set 4 times. Then what you can do, if needed, is go into each of the additional ad sets and you can change the interest, the secondary interest, if you want to cut up your primary interest a little bit further. All the ads are going to remain the same. The only thing you might do is change the interest in each of the ad sets. So you already have your primary interest, you can come in and add different secondary interests to each of your ad sets. But other than that, that's the only thing you're going to change using this method. So again, I call this penny slots. It's one ad set budget optimization campaign, 5 $5 ad sets, so your total budget is $25 a day, and each of the ad sets after the first one are all duplicates. So it's really easy to set up. It's a great testing method. I like it because having different ad sets helps you hit different segments of your audience, even when you're running duplicate ad sets. People ask me all the time if I should be concerned about ad sets competing against each other. The answer is no, you really shouldn't, especially on small budgets. The chances of that happen are super, super small. So hope you found this video helpful, and we'll see you in the next one. Hey, what's up? I thought I'd make this video because it might be an encouragement to some of you. So the design that I made in the design section of this course, I actually used the penny slots method that I teach you, and I created a test campaign with that design, and I've already got a sale on that campaign. I thought you might find this encouraging to see it. So I'm at the ad set level of the campaign. I can't show you all my campaigns. I got too many of them going on. I'm at the ad set level here. You can see this is my Braver, Stronger, Smarter campaign. I'm going to show you what the product looks like in the ad and all that stuff in just a minute. This is the penny slots method. So remember, the penny slots method is 5 ad sets using ad set budget optimization, $5 a day. The only thing I changed was mine has a $6 a day budget instead of $5 a day. This just has to do with how I'm budgeting my spend over the course of 3 days. So it works with $5, works with $6. You can change a budget however you want. It does work better with lower budgets though. It's just what I've found for this particular method. So anyways, this is the penny slots method. The only change is I'm using $6 daily budgets per ad set instead of $5 ad sets. Okay, let me show you the ad real quick. So I'm just going to click in through the ad layer. I'm going to go to preview. And so here's kind of what my ad looks like. So it says, hey moms, would your daughter love this? Grab yours today and save $40, just like I showed you in my previous videos. And here is the actual product. And you can see how I kind of cropped down on the product. So I'm just showing the product in the jewelry box. And it's already got 2 likes, and I've had 1 sale. My ROAS at the moment for this product is 5.82. Now I got a sale like right out of the gate. The ROAS is probably going to continue to go down over the next day or two. However, I just thought you might find this encouraging to see that these ad set or these testing methods do still work. You can get sales in 2020. So you really have no excuse. If you're using these testing methods and you're not getting sales, trust me, it's not the method's fault. It's an issue with the product. Try a new product. So hope everybody finds this video encouraging, and we'll see you in the next one. Hey, what's up everybody? In this video, we're going to be talking about the wishing well method. Now, the wishing well method is pretty similar to the penny slot method, except we're going to use campaign budget optimization, and we're going to be setting minimum spends on our ad sets. So let's get right into it. First of all, this method is going to use $25 a day is your budget. It's going to be a CBO campaign. So that stands for campaign budget optimization. So at the campaign level, when you're creating this particular method, you're going to make sure campaign budget optimization is checked. Next, at the ad set level, everything in your ad set is going to be the same for any ad set. You're going to go choose your geography, you're going to choose your age and your gender based on your particular niche, and then you're going to choose your primary and secondary interests if you have a secondary interest. The big difference though is under budget and scheduling. There's going to be a little link in there. I'm not sure what it's going to say in your particular setup. They're changing this all the time. It'll say advanced settings, more settings, something like that. It's probably a little hyperlink. If you click that, it'll expand and it'll show you a place to put minimum spending limits on that particular ad set. So again, that's in the budget and scheduling section. It's going to be more towards the top of the ad set level. And there's going to be probably a little blue hyperlink that you click to expand some additional options. And you're going to have the ability to add some minimum spending limits. So for the wishing well method, what I like to do is set the minimum spending limit for my ad set at $1.25. Now this assumes that I'm going to have 5 ad sets, okay? I set the minimum spending limit for $1.25. I'll get into why I do that in just a second. For now, let's stay talking about setup. So set your campaign, $25 a day, campaign budget optimization. Go to your ad set layer, set your minimum spend for $1.25. That's not maximum spend, it's minimum spend. Then go set the rest of your targeting like you normally would for an ad set. After you get your ad set all set up, I want you to go in and I want you to create your ad with your best image and your best ad copy. Once you have these done, you're going to publish your first ad set and ad. So you're going to publish all of this here, publish that, and it's going to go into review. While it's in review, you're going to go back into this ad set. You're going to duplicate it 4 times. Duplicate this ad set 4 times. Then you may need to go into the duplicated ad sets and change your secondary interests if you choose to do so. Or you can run them all as duplicates. That's entirely up to you, okay? So in the end, you're gonna have one campaign, $25 budget. You're gonna have 5 ad sets. Each of the ad sets are basically gonna be duplicates except for the interests, and that's kind of up to you. And all the ads are gonna be duplicates of each other as well. So you're gonna spend a maximum of $25 a day on this. Now, why the minimum spending limits? Well, campaign budget optimization, Facebook likes to optimize your spend, so it'll look at which ad sets are doing the best and it'll spend more money on those ad sets. The thing is you move into day 2 and day 3 of your testing, I typically find that the ad sets kind of reset. The performance is never really consistent on the ad sets. So what I like to do is force Facebook to constantly spend on across all the ad sets in case, if day 1 ad set 1 performs better, but then day 3 ad set number 3 starts performing better, I want Facebook to know that and start reallocating spend towards ad set number 3. So I force it to spend a little bit of money on every ad every day to make sure that I'm testing them all evenly. Okay, this is the wishing well method. I hope you found this video helpful. We'll see you in the next one. What's up, everybody? In this video, we're going to go over the crawler method. Now, the reason I call this one the crawler method is because we're going to use very, very low budget ad sets. Let's talk about the campaign structure really quick. So first of all, it's one ad set budget optimization campaign. Ad set budget optimization. Then we're going to have 25 ad sets. 25. Notice I have 1, 2, ... 25. There's 25 ad sets here. Each ad set has a $1 budget. Now you know why we call this one the crawler. These ad sets spend very slowly. They gather data very, very slowly. $1 over the course of 24 hours is just, it's moving at a glacial pace, but you're going to have 25 of these. It's really going to help you see which ad sets are targeting good audiences versus which ones are not. And you're going to be able to get a really good spread and distribution across the total audience pool. So that's why I like this method in particular. I know one seller in particular, huge seller that uses this testing method to this day. So it's 25 $1 ad sets. You run each of these ad sets to your best interest, and you're going to use your best ad and image on each of these particular ad sets. So again, this one's called the crawler method, ad set budget optimization, 25 $1 ad sets. Your total budget is going to be $25 per day. Let this run to 2 times your break-even cost per purchase. If you have 0 sales, turn it off. If you have 1 sale or more, then move on to the next section that I teach in the course about analyzing your data and how to maybe start ramping up. All right, hope you found this video helpful. See you in the next one. What's up, everybody? In this video, I'm going to talk about the tumbleweed method. So this is another testing method that I sometimes like to experiment with. This one uses campaign budget optimization, and it's got a $25 a day budget. Now, the reason I call it a tumbleweed is because watching this one perform is very boring. It feels kind of slow the way it gathers data. The other thing is with campaign budget optimization in particular, the way Facebook kind of spins to determine your auction in the bid is relatively slow. However, I like to start this one at 5 a.m. on Tuesdays, and I just kind of let it rip until I reach my break-even point for my testing. So it's usually I let it run to 2 times my break-even cost per purchase. If I have 0 sales, then I turn it off. Let's go over this real quick. There's not a lot to it, but just to be thorough, so it's $25 a day. It's one campaign budget optimization campaign. It's got 1 ad set, and you're running the ad set to your best interest, and you use your best ad image and best ad copy, and then you turn it on. It's like a little wind-up toy. You turn it on, you just kind of let it go, let it start spinning, let it start collecting data. I call this one the tumbleweed because there's not a lot of action. Feels a little bit boring. However, after the first 24 to 36 hours, this thing can start to get itself kind of dialed in. So it's usually day 2 or 3 that you start to see campaign budget optimization tests like this one perform. So hope you found this video helpful. We'll see you in the next one.